everybody, and welcome to this next episode of The Unheard, where we are going to be talking to Haley. Hi, Haley.
Hi. Oh,
So, can you introduce yourself a little bit for those who don't know you?
yeah. Hi. My name is Haley. I am from Michigan, USA, and I found Lisa on Ren's Patreon. So shout out. And I recently have been struggling a lot with chronic pain. I've been in the hospital about 4 or 5 times in the last month for pain.
Yeah.
And I am also bipolar 2, and I work in the healthcare industry.
Oh, very interesting.
hmm
So, maybe you have some interesting insights to give there.
I definitely do. So I am a pharmacy tech. I've been a pharmacy tech for almost 10 years, and I currently work in a healthcare system. I've been at this place, the 17th will be 6 years that I've been at this place that I'm at now. And previously I was working at Sam's Club, which is like a big warehouse store, kind of like Costco. And that's
Okay.
where I pharmacy.
Mm. And so, what can you tell us about the different pathologies you're suffering from and how they came to be diagnosed in your life?
So, my parents got divorced when I was 4. So basically, my entire life, I have 4 parents. So there's
Okay.
my mom, dad, my stepdad, and my stepmom. And I have 2 siblings. So my sister's 3 years younger than me. Her name's Megan. And my brother is 11 years younger than me. His name's Gavin. He's my half brother, but he's my brother. So, our entire life, our mom and dad were fighting over us for custody. So we had to go through therapy. And it was mainly me, though, because I have bipolar 2. But for the longest time, everyone thought I was just depressed. So
Oh,
I didn't really get that diagnosis till I was about 13, 14.
okay.
And um like going through therapy at a young age, I with my parents fighting for us the whole time, I didn't feel comfortable opening up in therapy. And so I didn't really say much. We had court appointed therapy. So I was like, well, everybody's going to know what I'm saying. So why should I even say anything? So I didn't really open up. I didn't really say anything. I just kind of cried the whole time. So that's how
So
my
it was a trust issue for you then to talk
and
about.
working through that. Like, I don't write down my emotions because I'm afraid somebody's going to go through it. Even
Mm.
though I live alone. And so that's something I'm trying to start doing is journaling, but I have a hard time. Even like on my phone, I have the notes app and I downloaded a journal thing, but I still have a hard time writing it out because I feel like somebody's gonna read it, even though my phone's locked and
Mm.
nobody has a word.
Mm.
So when I was 14 was the first time I went into a day program. So the day programs are called partial hospital programs. So
Mhm.
it's school, you go from like 9 to 3, and it's basically group therapy. And I started that when I was 14, and I've been to them multiple times. At that point in my life, I wasn't comfortable opening up, and I hated group therapy.
Mhm.
Hated it. Very introverted, didn't want to talk to anybody, didn't feel like I could relate to anybody. I grew up in Flint, Michigan, so there's a lot of crime. And so a lot of the people that were in there were committing crimes outside of there and talking
Mhm.
about it. I'm like, this is not me. Like, I can't relate to these people. But as I got older, I did. But the psychiatrist there diagnosed me with bipolar. And that was the first time I got that diagnosis when I was 14. And the first time I was inpatient in a hospital, I was I want to say 18 or 19.
Okay. And so you have medication for this condition, or
Yeah, I take Zoloft and Lamictal,
and
and
does it help you? Do you find
it's the only
yourself?
help.
Okay.
I don't particularly like the Zoloft. I was on the highest dose for a long time, and I feel like when you first start it, it's like you can't cry. And I don't like that. I don't like feeling like I can't express my emotions, but I've been on it for so many years that like now I can definitely cry. Um, but I don't like the fact that medication hinders your emotions because I feel
Yeah.
like I think that's like not the good part of it. But I
Yeah.
also have realized that I need it.
What are what are the other pathologies that you've been diagnosed with? Because you told me about bipolar, but I know that there is some other stuff too.
Yeah, so my whole family's tall. My dad's like 6'4", my mom's 5'9". My grandparents are all tall. Besides my mom's mom, she's like 4'11", but we so like me and my sister are technically I'm 5'11" and 3/4, so almost 6 foot. I just say I'm 6 foot. I mean,
Well,
it's
I'm the same height as you are.
really that's
Yeah.
awesome. I love all girlies. So I'm tall. I've been going to a chiropractor for probably 9 years now. And my dad has actually recently just had back surgery. Um, and I found out about a year ago that I will probably need a hip replacement sometime in the near future.
Um,
Um, my x-rays showed that my left hip is bone on bone. I feel like I never noticed it because I'm always in pain. So I was like, oh, I guess this explains the pain. But I when I was younger, I had like no self confidence. So I was always like standing like this, trying to be shorter because I'm taller than every guy in my school. Um, Now I love it, but back then I hated it. And
mm.
so I think that contributed to part of my back problems, but I think it's just genetic, honestly.
So this has been quite a journey with chronic pain too. So you had to manage both all everything going on in your brain and how that makes you feel, because it does obviously have our mindset and how our brain functions have a biological effect on our body too. So you had to manage that plus the chronic pain then.
Yeah. And I've always said that I wish I had a broken bone or something
Yeah.
because all of my symptoms, all of my pain comes from inside and no one can see it. And
Yeah.
it's really frustrating, especially being so young with chronic pain, because what I get all the time, you're too young to have back pain.
Yeah.
Okay, my back. I'm 6 foot tall. I'm almost 300 pounds. Like, I'm in pain constantly.
Mm,
And the weight didn't start until I started bipolar medication.
mm,
And so I went from 175, was like my weight throughout high school, to when I started bipolar medication, I was like 17. I went from 175 to 265 in less than a year. And I've
mm.
consistently been over 200 pounds since then. And so from 17 to I'm 30 years old now, I've been over 200 pounds, which isn't good for your joints, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And um that goes along with my other diagnosis, which is PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome. So I found that out about 5 or 6 years ago that I have that. And that was done by a blood test, is like one of the only ways that they diagnose it. But in my opinion, I think a lot of women have it and they don't know.
Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah. So with PCOS, the main thing is your body has more testosterone than most women, and your body produces more insulin than you use. So it all is stored in fat in your like stomach area.
Mm,
That's where all my fat is. That's where the area I hate the most.
mm,
And it also, because you have more testosterone, most women have like facial hair.
mm.
Um, and other things that go along with that, like a high libido and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I found out because my mom has it,
Uh,
and you have fertility issues also. Um, Between all of my siblings, my mom had a miscarriage. And with every pregnancy, she gained over 100 pounds,
mm,
which typical is like 30 pounds.
mm,
And she gained over 100. And each one of our births were traumatic. So there's that too. But she
mm,
wanted to get tested. And I went to an endocrinologist and they did a blood test and said, yeah, you have PCOS.
mm. So this, it could be genetically related too then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so what are the symptoms that you experience the most with PCOS then?
I would say chronic fatigue. It plays into my depression. I don't want to do anything. I'm always tired constantly. All I
Mm,
want to do is sit on the couch and watch TV. I
mm,
hate leaving my apartment, and that just feeds into depression because I don't leave my apartment, then I'm depressed. I don't communicate with people, then I'm depressed. So
mm.
it all interweaves with each other.
There are these times where I get depressed and where you just, go down this road of, you start feeling a little, off, and then a few days later you feel really down, and then just spiraling down that thing. And every time I get through to the end of it, where I'm like, well, you haven't picked up your guitar in weeks, or you haven't, listened to as much music as you do normally, and usually every time I'm like, music does it. So but it's like every time it goes in the same direction. Every time I think, well, you should maybe just see a friend for a cup of coffee, or you should just, something simple, pick up the guitar for 10 minutes, have a coffee with a friend or something. It doesn't have to be the entire day, it doesn't have to take up all of your time or your energy, but it does really help. And every time it's the same thing, and every time I think, well, that's what you need to do, because relations the interaction with others is so important. And when you're all by yourself, I mean, sometimes you need a little bit of me time, where it just at home, by yourself with your own thoughts. And even if you're not feeling great, sometimes you just need to sit with that. But the more you do it, the further you spiral down, until the point where you realize actually you need to, just have some nice time with someone and have a nice conversation. Or it's so important. Yeah.
When I was around 15, so before my dad had custody of me and my sister, um, my mom called the cops on me, and she basically told them that I assaulted her, which I've never put my hands on anyone but my little sister. Um, and it was really messed up. Uh, and I was like, basically like, screw you, I'm leaving. So I ran to my neighbors in my socks and I called my dad crying. And my dad was like, I'm on my way to pick you up. Only problem, my dad lives an hour away.
Mm.
So um, he was on his way. I sat at my neighbor's house. And so I'm sitting there and I see the cops pull up in my mom's driveway. My dad is a retired police officer. So, bit ironic, but anyway.
Now that you're 30, and that you probably had, quite some time to process everything that happened, and how you feel now about stuff. How do you think that everything that happened at that time has impacted you today, and what's the aftermath of all of this in your adult life now?
So people might think it's a little nuts, but I have the best relationship with my mom right now. Like, we're like best friends. She lives 10 minutes from me. My dad still lives an hour away.
Mm,
Um, in all of this happening, I feel like it made me the person I am today, so I don't regret any of it. I don't feel bad about any of it,
Mm,
but it definitely created a lot of trust issues with police officers in general,
mm,
uh, and my mom, obviously, and just the system as a whole. In school was kind of like my only escape in books and reading. So I was an all A student. I think I graduated with like a 3.9. And that
mm,
was with my depression. Like, my dad talked to my high school, and I was in the guidance counselor's office constantly doing my homework. I missed months of school at a time, and it was all fine because, like, we were in communication with the assistant principal, and
mm.
like it was a tiny, tiny school. I think my graduating class was like 200 to 300 people. Like, it was
Okay.
really,
Yeah.
but I don't know. I just appreciate everything that happened. It just, I feel like I was born with a lot of empathy, but also I feel like all the situations that I've been placed in and been a part of has just made my empathy so much more. And I appreciate that.
So there are things that you maybe didn't understand at the time that you're using today in your relationships, and something positive that you pulled from all of this.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
really do.
yeah, go on.
I was just gonna say, I think it made me and my sister a lot closer. So, like I said, me and my sister have the same mom and dad, and so she's literally the only person who understands what I went through and what I understand what she went through. She was
Mm,
there, I was there. Um, so that helps with like validating my emotions and stuff, because at least I know I'm not crazy because she was there and she
mm,
witnessed it. Regardless of the emotional manipulation, like, at least I have one person who was like, no, you're not crazy. That happened.
mm.
I was there. I witnessed it.
We can see in your story that there are obviously quite dysfunctional family dynamics, and that this has, played out on you as kids, and how you managed to get through all of that. And I'm really happy for you that you had this epiphany about yourself, and that you could, realize that that your emotions are valid, and that you're not crazy. And because that's really important, because this is something, I think trust issues as a child are so detrimental to adult life. Because if you have trust issues as a child, then you grow up to be a very scared adult, and it's very difficult to then form um, good relationships with people, and to have very healthy relationships too, because you don't really know what a healthy relationship is. So it becomes really, really difficult afterwards. And I think if you do the work and you have at least the realization that this is the case, then you can go from there, and try to evolve and try to repair some of the damage that has been done, because it's manageable and it's doable. And if you find things that are working for you, I know I've been in therapy for a long, long time, and I still am. And my therapist is awesome. She's the best. And I really, I adore our sessions, because it's just helping me move on with some stuff, and, close some really difficult chapters of my life um, that have, haunted me for a long time. So I think for me, this is what's working. I don't think it works for everyone, but I think everyone can find something that is going to help them repair the damage.
I
And yeah, so if you do find a way to get through all of this, then you can really grow up, and find a healthy uh find out what a healthy mindset is, and how you can, advance in life by being just, yourself, and accepting yourself how you are. But so, what is some lesson that you've learned through all of this that you apply today to your life and to your relationships, and how you go on with everything, like especially with relationships?
With relationships, in the last 6 years, like the company that I work for now, I can't stand them. Sorry. I literally will tell anybody and everyone, do not go to this hospital system. But um basically, I think it benefited me in a lot of ways. Like when I first started working for this company, I was at a small pharmacy, and it was literally the cliche, like a family. I will say that because for about 2 years, we didn't have a boss. We just had the pharmacist, me, my best friend, another best friend, and like we hung out outside of work. It was literally the best time of my life. So we were all super similar. We still talk to this day. None of us work there anymore at that location. And being in that environment with all my female coworkers really taught me a lot about myself and about my emotions and like how things are normalized, like
Mhm.
are normal. Like, and that's why I love being so open because I'm like, it's okay, everybody. Like, this is normal. Like, you are supposed to feel like this. Like,
Mhm.
that is one of the biggest things. And as I get older, I'm like it's kind of funny, but like one of the first things I tell people when I meet them, I'm like, I have bipolar too. Nice to meet you. And I'm like, not anything. I'm super chill. Like it's funny, but it's also like they probably think I'm crazy, but that's okay. And but it also recently so many of my friends have come to me like, Haley, I appreciate you. Like, you make me feel comfortable and I feel like I can come to you. And that is so like heartwarming to me. I don't want to cry. But it like I've known these people have been my friends for like at least 10 years, and I had no idea that they were going through the same thing as me. Like I
Mhm.
just talked to my friend's husband, and he was like, yeah, I'm super depressed and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, dude, you can talk to me. Like I know what to do, or at least I know what's worked for me. And like he was talking about struggling with finding the right medication and how he doesn't trust any doctors. And I'm like,
Mhm.
I agree with you, but also don't quit. Like, don't
Mhm.
stop trying because it is important to a lot of people need medication and it is very helpful. And some people
Mhm.
need it temporarily and some people need it for the rest of their life, and that's okay either way.
Mhm. Mhm.
But I really feel like the biggest thing is just I try to have people like basically say, don't care about what everyone else thinks about you. It doesn't matter. Just live
Mhm.
your life, man. And like I feel like the generation before me, like my mom's age, is all like, you're supposed to do this. You have to do this. Somebody tells me I have to do something, instantly triggered. I'm like, bet I'll do the exact opposite. Try me. So like I think that's the biggest thing is like, especially in middle school, every girl questions everything. They're like, oh my God, I'm so ugly. Oh my God, I'm so fat. Oh my God, everyone hates me. And so, like, I think everyone thinks, like, I wish I knew what I knew now then. And I do. I really do. Cause it would have solved a lot of problems I had. And I just think that's the biggest thing. Just like, do you, and who cares what everyone else thinks? Cause it doesn't matter.
No, it
In my,
doesn't. And
it
and actually, and you end up, if you go down that route, and you think, well, actually, that doesn't really matter, and I can be myself. Then you end up finding out that really no one really cares, and that it's just
most
you who's making.
care about themselves more than anything.
Exactly. And so it's most of the time it's just you making up stuff in your head about what people might think of you. And so there's so many ifs in those stories that it's actually not exactly true. And I mean, there you can be confronted with some people being really mean, or I have been bullied a lot in school, so I mean, I know when it's really confronting. I mean, you know how that is, and how you feel when someone is just, just being really mean to you. But when you become an adult, those people, they still exist, but they're actually more interested in their own lives and their own problems than yours. So if you learn to take a step back and realize that actually no one really cares about all of those negative things you're thinking about yourself. Like if you think, oh, I look fat in these clothes, or, you know, I don't know, but all of those negative thoughts that are, in our brain all day long. I mean, no one really cares about them. It's just you, actually. And so
Right.
when you can take a step back from that and realize that, it's so much easier, because then you start really just living life as you want it to be, and having the relationships you want to have. So it's a lot easier, actually, but it takes a lot of time. And I think especially today, with the society we're living in, where everything is really focused on appearance, and on ideas we have from, about one another, it's really difficult to realize that, especially at a young age. And it's taken me quite a lot of time, to come to that point where I actually really don't care. So, but it's so much easier, and it's so freeing.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice. But yeah, so I wanted to touch upon Ren a bit, because we met through Patreon.
Mm-hmm.
And so well, we've had, some exchanges before that, but you saw my post on Patreon, and that's where you decided to respond for this interview. So
Yeah.
when did you first hear about him, or when did you first hear a song?
So what's hilarious to me is that I found him in May of this year.
Yep.
And I was like, the first thing I saw, I was doom scrolling on Facebook, because this entire year I've basically been in my apartment and not left. I've been super depressed, and that's a whole nother thing. But um basically in January, my sister's best friend died, and she
Mm,
stayed for a couple months. I got super depressed. I was basically like, F everything. I'm not going to work. I'm not doing anything. I'm going to stay in my apartment forever. And I was on the couch scrolling through Facebook constantly. So I saw a reaction video. I can't think of their names. The two guys where it's like a metalhead and a rap guy.
oh, yeah,
It,
yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, 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 I've
yeah,
seen.
they were picking apart Violet's Tale. And I was like, dude, this song is amazing. Like, this guy's great. And
Mm,
the thing with Violet's Tale that really, really hit me was, like, I've never been in a physically violent relationship, but like when he, in the part of Violet's Tale, when he says, do you think I want to do this, Violet? Like, that hit me so hard.
mm,
I was like, this is insane. Like, I freaking love this. So I went and I watched his YouTube videos. I think I watched Suicide, and I watched a few of them, and crazily enough, I forgot about him. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? But around November 8th of this year, I refound Ren. So don't know how that happened either. But around November every year I have a manic episode. And because I have bipolar 2, my manic episodes are not super extreme to the naked eye. Like, I basically seem like a normal person, besides the fact that I talk a lot. And
mm.
so I was at my dad's house. He plays guitar and sings at bars. So I went to
Okay.
see one of those, and I came home on a Saturday, and this is actually when all my chronic pain started this year.
Mm,
Basically the same day that I found Ren, so it's very crazy. But I woke up one morning with the Charlie horse in my left leg. The next morning at my dad's house, I woke up with one in my right leg, and my sister literally had to pull me off the couch because I couldn't like do anything.
mm.
Um, but so then I went home that Saturday, and on the way home, I showed my sister um a lot of Ren songs because I had been listening to them. But with her friend's death, The song Freckled Angels and the song Suicide have really helped her.
I found, because this is, I mean, when you've listened to a lot of music and you know a lot of different genres and you like a lot of different artists or bands, there are those who stand out for, you know, each and every one of us, where we think, oh, you know, this, I'm going to listen to that band for the rest of my life, or, you know, this,
I
where you can
yeah.
just relate to, or you just love the music so much. And this is really a feeling that I haven't had for quite a long time now. And I love listening to loads of different artists, and I listen to, I think on my Spotify, I posted it a few weeks ago, because I got the, you know, the Spotify,
The re
uh, yeah, the recap, the yearly recap, and on one of the slides it said, like, I don't remember what it said exactly, but it was something like, you must really adore music because you've listened to 1,773 different artists this year. And I was like, wow, you know, I didn't even know I listened to that many different, you know, people. So I thought that was really really cool, because that shows that I really just love music in general, and just, you know, the artistry of everything. But it's been quite some time I haven't found someone like, where I just listen to a few songs and where I see the diversity in genres in the same artist, and where I think, you know, I'm never going to get bored of this. And like, every time I listen to something from him, I'm like, different again, you know, this is, you know, he's putting a different, it has a different take on stuff, or, you know, he puts another vibe into the song. And so yeah, I really feel like it's going to be, apart from all of the fact that, you know, you can relate to him on different levels because of the lyrics, I think it's also musically, it's just, there's so much, you know, that there, you can almost use one Red song for every emotion that you're feeling, because it's just so different. So I think that's the really interesting part about him too, and what he does.
So in what I was saying earlier, like with my sister's best friend dying and she stayed with me for a couple months, I got my work from home taken away because I had too many absences. I was on my last write up. Basically, next absence was termination.
Mm,
Didn't though because I went inpatient this year in August. And so then when I found Ren, it was like the perfect time because I was manic and I've never gotten through a manic episode. It always leads to severe depression. This is the
mm.
first time in my entire life that I've gotten through manic episodes, and I 100% say that it's Ren that did it, and you guys, like the community, because honestly, I had so much music to listen to. Like all his music I had not listened to. So I had everything to listen to and I listened to it. And like I posted it on my Instagram, like it said I listened to Slaughterhouse 66 times. And I was like, okay, I mean valid, but like um
Yeah.
I honestly think that's like how I got through this manic episode. Like it's crazy to think about. And like within from November 8th to now is when my manic episode was happening. And literally like the recap was like your top artist is Ren. And I was like, well, yeah, obviously. But this all happened a month.
I think also because he maintains, even though he's had some phases lately of, where, you know, for a week or two we don't hear that much, because he's probably going through a lot of stuff, and he can't, you know, doesn't want to, and can't keep up with the community and everyone. But he's a very genuine person, and he's very close. He has this very close relationship to his fans. And so I think that is something that we don't see a lot in, you know, most of the artists we and singers will listen to, and bands, because this is really a very kind of personal way to interact with your fans. And then everything that has been built around, the entire community that's been built around him, is also super interactive. I mean, I've very rarely seen fans that are not only talking about him as an artist and about his work, but also then go on so many different tangents, like talking about medical stuff and talking about mental health and talking about, you know, art in general, and exposing their own art and people responding, and it's an enormously interactive community. So I think that is something where you just get engulfed, in this thing, where once that you're in, you're just surrounded by people, talking about it all the time, and having interactions with others. So it's something quite special. It's something that I didn't find in most other fan
So,
groups of other bands.
so ironically, part of my agreement with my mom when I got out of the hospital was that I had to join group therapy, which I hate. And then I found Ren, and like through Patreon and X, like I made a lot of friends. And shout out to Anne, because I know she likes to lurk, but she's been great. Like we talk on Discord all the time now. And honestly, like I told my mom, I was like, screw group therapy. This is my group therapy. Like,
Yeah.
honestly, God, I have not had a bad experience with any of his fans. I've gotten in arguments with them on X, but like we're all cool now. Like we're still friends. Like it's fine. And
Yeah.
like I think that's really important, is just like the fact that he's out here like just telling people it's okay to like talk about mental health is the biggest like positive thing I can say.
I just wanted to wrap up our time together by just asking if there is anyone that is watching this video that's going through the same things you are. What what message of hope or resilience could you give to that person to make them feel like what they're going through is valid and that they're going to make
So one thing I didn't mention, I don't like to say I'm religious, but like I have a really strong relationship with God, and that's another thing I related to with Ren. Like I think he said in one of his videos, like music brought him to God. It did with me too. Like being in church my whole life, I couldn't stand it. It was more of a performance for my mom, like here's our perfect family, so I hated it. But in recent years, like I just got baptized in 2020,
it.
and like that music brought me to God, and it's just like the hope of it all. Like with Ren's community, like everyone is so hopeful, and like that's how you have to be, because if you're not, yeah, it's super easy to be like, oh, I hate life, why am I here, this sucks, I don't
Mm.
want to do anything. Totally felt like that this year. I thought last year was the worst year of my life. Surprise, it's this year. So like I've never attempted, but I have suicidal thoughts all the time. And
Mm.
that's normal. And that's what I want to say is it's okay. Even normal people have suicidal ideations. Like it is normal.
Everyone,
Hmm.
everyone.
And like I was shocked recently. My dad told me he had suicidal thoughts, and I was like, I'm sorry, what? Like everyone has them. It's totally normal. And you will get through it if you tell yourself you will.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. I think it's really important to have to hold on to hope, because even if you don't know how you're going to make it, if you just hang in there, you're going to come out on the other side of the tunnel, feeling different. And every time you just learn, it's just a learning curve.
Hmm.
And you learn how to get better at that and how to make it through
Hmm.
until, the day where you just find things that are going to really help you, or people who are there for you. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's really just important to keep hope, even if it's just a little bit. Just keep
Yeah.
it there. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Haley. That was
Yeah.
really a great
Yeah.
conversation. It was really nice having you, and I hope Christmas is going to bring some, nice memories, and you're going to have some good times with your sister, maybe going to another
Yeah.
rock concert. And yes, and we'll see each other on Patreon probably again.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. It
So,
was so
and
nice to meet you.
sorry.
It was so nice to meet you.
Oh, thank you. Well, hope to see you soon then.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of The Unheard. I hope you liked it. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe to get more of that. And check out the description of the video and the links in my bio to see how you can help with the research. See you soon.